Hello friends, it's Susan Brook, and today I'm going to show you how to stitch a blanket stitch. Blanket stitch is great for sewing edges together, and it's really, I usually use it with felt because the felt doesn't fray at the edges, but you can use it with any kind of fabric you want. Today I'm going to show you how to make a beanbag with blanket stitch. I made this one earlier. And as you can see, that the wool is different, the felt is different colors, but the stitches look pretty much the same on both sides. Um, I recorded this one, but it didn't come out very well because, gosh, it's the same color as my sweater. So now I'm going to make just a little one, just a little round bean bag. It's yellow on one side and white on the other side, and I'm going to stitch it again with my lovely pink thread. Um, and if you need some support in threading the needle or tying a knot, you can look at the earlier tutorials that I did on sewing basics. I'm not going to go over those again. So if you can make a beanbag in any shape. I think the traditional shape that I've usually seen is square. This one is round and small, but if you're making them, you want to make them for your child. You want to make them so they'll fit in a child's hand. So this is a good size. It's probably about 4 inches square, and this one is a little smaller. I used a jar lid to trace the circles. So this is how, sorry, I'm just gonna plug in my power here. Okay, so to start, I just have one piece in my hand now just so I can show you. I always put my knots in the middle of what I'm working on so that they don't show. So I'm gonna do this. There's my knot. This is the front. I'm going to put my two pieces together now, tuck in that little tail that's sticking out, and it might come out again. Sometimes they like to poke out, and I just keep poking them back. I see I haven't cut this exactly even. I don't think it's going to matter in my finished product. If this happens to you and it bothers you, you can always trim it before you start. So as you saw, the stitches are the same on both sides, but I think just for learning, it's easier if you do it always the same way. So for this that I'm showing you today, I'm going to go from front to back. So, front to back. I'm going to poke it through, and I'm going to pull. And I'm going to pull, and see there's a loop there. I'm not going to pull all the way. Now there's just a bit of a loop there. I'm going to put the needle through from underneath, pull it all the way through, and then pull it up against the fabric. Let me see, there's a little hair there. And that's all there is to it. I'm going to show you two other ways, but I'm going to do a few more stitches like this. I try to space them more or less evenly. This way between the stitches and this way in, and you can make them bigger or smaller. Since we're going to be filling this with beans, the spaces need to be smaller than a bean. So there's my loop again. I go from the bottom to the top and pull it tight, top to bottom. Oops, I'm going to make that a little closer. My computer's up a little high, I notice. Okay, top to bottom for where my arms want to be. Pull. And if you have a longer thread, this is going to happen. It's going to get a little twisty. Just straighten it out with your fingers. Pull, pull, pull until it's not too big, not too small. Stick your needle through from the bottom to the top and pull. So you can see it's starting to look like a little nice blanket stitch. It looks the same on both sides. So now that we've done, all right, one more of these. I'll do one more of these, and then I'm going to show you the different ways. Okay, top to bottom, pull until there's just a loop left. Yeah, and if it gets turned around, you might want to untwist it. Mine always do. Bottom up, the thread through the loop, and then pull. And you want to pull it, you don't want to pull it too tight. You want it to just hug the edge nicely. All right, so here's option 2. They all start the same way, front to back. But this time you're going to take the thread that's coming out of where you've already sewn, that's coming out of the last stitch, and tuck it around behind the needle. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, there now. I can see it. I hope you can see it. So it's just wrapped like that. And then I'm going to hold it like this with my fingers, pull the needle, pull the thread all the way through, and then when it gets up, so now it's kind of up to my fingers, I'm going to let go now and pull. And it's the same, so it's the same thing. Oh, I notice it's a little longer, but anyway, it's the same stitch. So let me show you that one more time. Top to bottom, there comes the needle. Take the thread from the last stitch. Oops, I'm just going to move my needle a little. I don't like where it is. Take the thread that's coming out of the last stitch. Pull it to the other side of the needle. Like that. And hold on to it with your finger, like so. Pull, pull, pull. If it gets stuck on the fabric, pull it, just loosen it up, and there you go. I kind of like that way, but you should try the different ways and see what you think. So here's one more of those. Front to back, thread around to the other side of the needle towards the center of the beanbag. Pull, 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 pull. Oops, try not to tie your hand in there. So hold, pull, and then when it gets, so it's tight there, just pull it the rest of the way through. So let me show you one more way that you can do this if you want. And I don't usually do it this way, but I do if I forget to put the thread through. So top to bottom, pull the needle all the way through, and this time you're just going to pull it all the way so it looks kind of like that. And then take the needle and just catch it under that funny looking little stitch, pull it through, pull the thread through, and ta-da, your blanket stitch. Here, let's do that one more time. So front to back, pull it all the way through so it looks a little sad. But all you have to do is take your needle and put it, sorry, I'm trying to see it and to show it to you at the same time. Put it underneath and, oops, and just pull. And there you go. So let me show you that one more time, and then you have 3 different ways of doing the blanket stitch. So front to back, pull all the way through. You got that funny little V there. Stick the needle right through there, right through this one and pull it all the way through. So I think that's not my favorite one because because my needle tends to get caught, especially if the wool is kind of fuzzy. But I'm going to just keep sewing, and I'm just going to talk about a couple other things as I go on my way around here. So you can go, as I said, you can sew from top to bottom or bottom to top. It doesn't really matter. But I think for learning, it's easier if you just do it the same way all the time. Also, so I'm using embroidery floss, cotton embroidery floss, and I'm using a double strand, mostly because I wanted it to show up a little bit more, well, for my demonstration. But I tend to use a double strand when if I'm sewing with children. If the children are sewing, I like to use a double strand because it doesn't keep coming unthreaded, and it's just frustrating if that happens. And if I'm the one who's sewing while there are children around, or if I think I'm going to have to be putting it down a lot because of the kids or for whatever other reason, I tend to use a double thread, but you don't have to do that. It's just a matter of preference. So I'm just going to do a few more stitches kind of quickly here, because then I'll show you how to finish it up. I think I did not make quite long enough string, and I see I'm getting to be in a hurry. So my stitches are getting a little bit bigger here. So I'm going to sew until there's probably just like 3 or 4 more stitches here until there's maybe like a 2 or 3 inch opening, and then I'm going to put the beans in. I am using garbanzo beans to fill this because that's what I have in my kitchen, but you can use any kind of beans, or you can use rice, or you can use sand, although if you use sand you probably want to have like a little inner packet, because I don't think this is going to, I don't think it's going to hold the sand in though. So that is what I would recommend. You could put a little wool in to make it feel softer, or you could put in some lavender flowers or some other rose petals or something like that to make it smell good. If you use the wool, you could also put in a few drops of essential oil like lavender or something like that. And you probably don't want to put the essential oil right on the wool because it'll stain it. But if it's something on the inside, you can do that, and it will smell nice. So now I've sewn most of the way around. I've got this little opening. I'm just gonna let that hang. That's the other nice thing about a double thread, is that you can do that. So yum yum yum, I'm ready for some beans. Okay, so I've got my little thing of beans, and it would probably be easier to do this with a little spoon or something, but I'm doing it with my fingers. So I'll probably have beans on my living room floor, but this is just a little one, so it doesn't need a whole lot of beans. I'm just pouring them in, and you don't want it overly full. You gotta put in a few more. They tend, if you put in too many, they tend to pop out when you try to sew it closed, but you do want them to have a little bit of weight. So it's not too thick. I'm not sure if you can tell that well. So I'm going to, I see I don't have quite enough thread to sew this up all the way around, but I'm going to show you how to finish it with a little bit of thread that I do have left, and then I will finish it on my own and I'll share a picture of the finished one on my blog. So to finish it, there's a couple of different ways, but I am going to finish it with a knot that I make with my thread. So I'm doing just a little stitch here, and I'm going to pull the needle through. I have to pull it through kind of backwards because my thread's not very long anymore. And I'm going to do that one more time. So I'm just going through close to the edge, and the second one you want to be pretty close to the first one that you did. And it's easier if the thread's a little longer, but this will work. So then I put the thread over the needle and I'm pulling it through. So it's kind of just like another little blanket stitch, but closer together. And then this is the part that I wanted to show you. And I'm going to try and keep this right side up so all my beans don't fall out. So once you have your knot, again, you don't want to have loose ends hanging out. I think they're more likely to come undone and they just don't look as nice. So I'm going to put the needle, we're pretending like this is all sewn up. I'm putting the needle between the two layers. So right in between the stitches, and then I'm going to poke it up through the middle-ish. No precise location is necessary, but just through kind of the middle. And then I'm going to pull it, and I'm going to pull it tight so it's like a little too tight. And then I am going to, I don't see my little scissors, but I'm going to take my big scissors and I'm going to clip the thread, both threads, really close to the fabric. And then what happens is you pull it back and the thread disappears and it's tucked away inside. So that's the blanket stitch. You can make all sorts of things with it, but a beanbag is nice to make, and I will share some beanbag games with you guys pretty soon, although I'm sure you can find some online too. You can also use it to make cute little finger puppets. Here's a cow, moo, and a seal. Both of these are stitched with a blanket stitch, and this little one also, the spots are sewn on with a running stitch, which you also know how to do now. And I wanted to show you this book. This is the book where those two patterns came from. Juniper Tree Around the World with Finger Puppet Animals by Suzanne Down, who is a wonderful, wonderful teacher, puppeteer person. And so this book, and you can find Juniper Tree, and I think she still sells this book, but it has lots of nice rhymes animal rhymes that you can use with finger puppets or without, and it has all the patterns, or a whole bunch of patterns in the back. And then these are a couple just really simple ones that don't have patterns, or that I just made up patterns for. There's a little mousey, and actually this one is done with a running stitch. It's a little, bumblebee. It's a little bumblebee. Yay! So that's all. That's it. Now you can know the running stitch, and you know the blanket stitch, and you can make all sorts of things. So let me know if you have any questions, or if there's other things that you would like me to demonstrate, or if you want me to, if there was something that wasn't clear, and I'll try to do it again. And thank you for stopping by. I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.